Hello everybody and welcome back to another not applicable Formula 1 video. I hope that you're well. Let's talk Haas. The 2023 season finally feels like it is just around the corner as Haas Formula 1 have been the first to drop their new look 2023 car. Well, ish. Let's delve into it a little bit. So it's just the livery that they've revealed in terms of their car so far. So it basically means that they've taken a model from the Formula 1 2022 game, slapped a new livery on it, and just thrown it out into the world and been like, it's probably going to look something like this. So in terms of the actual aerodynamics, in terms of how the car is going to be set up, we can't take too much away from this, but we can look into Haas as a team and what we're kind of expecting from Haas moving into the 2023 season. Obviously, as I just said, we didn't get to hear much from the Haas team. We haven't actually heard from Kevin Magnussen or Nico Hulkenberg as of yet, but we do get to see the black livery of the Haas. And I think it's interesting that they've gone back to the black livery. Those of you that are around for the Rich Energy days will remember that the black Haas did not do very well in that 2019 season and kind of started the spiral of Haas becoming the Haas that we knew in 2021, which was absolutely abysmal. They are looking to build on that upward trajectory that they have had over the past couple of seasons. If we delve into what Gunther Steiner and Gene Haas have had to say, Gunther Steiner says, "We head into the new season buoyed by some strong team performances last year and a return to points-paying finishes." I think that's a really big thing for Haas coming forward, and we'll talk about their drivers coming into this season, but I think they have to continue that points-paying finishes, right? They have to build on that if they can do. The aim for the 2023 season is naturally to do that more consistently with Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg. We'll delve into those two as well, and I certainly believe with this experienced driver pairing, we're more than capable of delivering those points on a Sunday. And then he continued to say, obviously, I share everyone's enthusiasm about this livery unveil, not least that it's a checkpoint in the preseason calendar. I think that's the main thing, right? Everybody's just gearing up now for this 2023 season, and it's another step in getting closer to doing the thing that we actually want to be doing, which is indeed going racing. And that's the thing, right? It's just a livery at this moment in time, but undoubtedly a more elevated and modernized look to this Haas Formula 1 team, which is fitting as we move into the new era alongside a MoneyGram, our title partnership. And I think that's the thing, right? There's a few things to delve into in terms of Haas here, and there's a few things that I want to discuss with you. First and foremost, where Haas are, the drivers that they've got for this season, and what that looks like coming into this season as well. What I kind of expect from Haas coming into 2023, and then what are the pressure points with Haas? What do they actually need to achieve in this 2023 season if they are going to build something moving forward? So let's kind of try and answer those three questions together and delve into it a little bit. I think first and foremost, we have to look back to look forward. 2022, Haas finished in P8 in the standings, 37 points overall. And considering they scored absolutely no points whatsoever in 2021 and were effectively the worst backmarker team we've seen for a very, very long time, they looked dead and buried. And 2022 was a massive resurgence for the team, basically buoyed by Kevin Magnussen coming back into the team as well. He was at the forefront, picking up some incredible results. You look at that P5 in Bahrain, picking up 10 points there. Obviously, he picked up 25 points over the entire course of the season. That was a massive chunk of Haas's points. And of course, that pole position in Brazil, was it a little bit lucky? Yes, but you've got to be there, right? You've still got to get into Q3 to manage to pick up that lucky pole position. And they by far and away deserved it. A massive, massive respect to Haas coming back up into the points consistently in that 2022 season. And if anything, they left points on the table. I think you can look at Kevin Magnussen in particular, think of all the first lap incidents that he had, losing his front wing end plates, constantly picking up black and orange flags all the time. There was definitely more points on the table for Haas moving forward and for Kevin Magnussen. Then there was Mick Schumacher down in 17th there, 12 points. Obviously, I think he struggled with the new expectations of the Haas car. Coming into 2022, just driving around at the back was no longer allowed, right? You were no longer just allowed to be the 19th fastest car, and that's fine. They were actually trying to push to maybe, pick up a 10th place occasionally, 11th, 12th, be in and around there. So if something did happen to one of those guys at the front, especially those top six, then you could maybe pick up a point because they were dropping out of it. And on multiple occasions, he obviously crashed the car towards the beginning of the season, destroyed his Haas car a couple of times as well. And I think that already, just by Monaco, we kind of knew that Haas were looking at other options for the 2023 season. I think he was a lot better in the second half of the seasons. Obviously moved on to Mercedes now. I think we will see him back in Formula 1, but Haas really couldn't they couldn't risk those few flashes of brilliance, especially when they didn't know the money from MoneyGram was going to come in for this season. So now we move into a 2023 season. Kevin Magnussen is staying, but now Nico Hulkenberg replaces Mick Schumacher. Let's look at those two then. Kevin Magnussen coming into this 2023 season, one podium to his name in Formula One, one pole position, of course, in Brazil that I've just mentioned, and 141 starts in Formula One. And I think that's the thing, right? Haas are going for a new look to their 2023 campaign. It was a shock return to the Haas team anyway for Kevin Magnussen in 2022. He raced for the team between 2017 and 2020, was probably their best driver ever, and statistically is their best driver ever in the Haas team. I know that the Haas car is young, but finished in 9th place in 2018, and obviously the team themselves finished in 5th in the Constructors' Championship, and he was there for that. So I think Kevin Magnussen is just kind of this good luck charm for Haas. When he is in and around the car, they genuinely seem to do a little bit better. As I said, was replaced in 2021 by Nikita Mazepin, and then came back in right at the beginning of the 2022 season, and thank goodness that Haas did that, because they really needed Kevin Magnussen in 2022 to push them forwards. Then there's Nico Hulkenberg, who's another sort of known quantity when it comes to Formula One, right? He's got one pole position, 521 points to his name, 181 Grand Prix starts. He's now 35. He's raced for the likes of Williams, Force India, Renault, as well as being like this super sub role over the last few years. Couple of races for Racing Point, couple of races for Aston Martin in 2022 as well. But as much as he's a known quantity, when it comes to these 2022 regulations, I think it'll be very interesting to see how he adapts to these cars and whether or not he kind of becomes that team number one ahead of Kevin Magnussen, whether they're kind of on par with each other, or whether or not he's going to sit slightly behind Kevin Magnussen. I think Nico Hulkenberg might sit slightly behind Kevin Magnussen in the pecking order when it comes to Haas, but Haas are looking for stability and experience, and he has that in abundance. He fits the bill perfectly for what they want. The German racing driver obviously holding on to that dubious record of the most race starts without picking up a podium. Is that going to be rescinded in any way? I don't think so. I think he's going to have to get very, very lucky if he's going to get a Haas car onto a podium. He will become an absolute hero if he gets that Haas car onto a podium. Kevin Magnussen and also Nico Hulkenberg, it will be an interesting pairing as well. That infamous foul-mouthed exchange at the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm sure Nico Hulkenberg and Kevin Magnussen have kind of got over that. It's been 6 years now between that sort of argument they had. Kevin Magnussen, of course, telling Nico Hulkenberg to taste his balls. But they're coming into this season as teammates together. And I think, actually, considering what Haas want, they're kind of this perfect pair. With all that being said then, what can we actually expect from Haas in this 2023 season? Because for me, they're in a little bit of a weird place. 2021 was abysmal. They completely sacked off that car basically entirely and just saved some pennies up for the 2022 season. They tried to build the 2022 car whilst just basically driving around at the back in 2021. And then 2022 saw this very different campaign, a resurgent car. They were very quick towards the beginning of the season, but they didn't have the financial backing to keep up with the upgrades compared to those other cars around them. And they slowly sort of started to drop backwards. There was a few kind of very, very good performances. I'm thinking Silverstone, I'm thinking Canada in particular. Those kind of 2 races back to back where Haas looked really, really good. Coming into this season, they've gone from having 2 rookies in the beginning of the 2022 season. Obviously, Kevin Magnussen came in just before the start of the season, technically, but then having 2 really experienced drivers at the helm now. And I think with those links with Ferrari as well, the Ferrari car looking very, very good for this 2023 campaign, considering what the behind the scenes guys are saying at Ferrari right now. They're going to be looking to claw their way up into that midfield pack. And especially with a title sponsor in MoneyGram, finally being able to reach somewhere near the cost cap will be a very different thing for Haas, right? They have definitely been one of those teams that has been scraping around at the bottom of the barrel to try and find those pounds and dollars towards the end of the season to bring those upgrades where possible. Now, maybe they can bring those upgrades more regularly. They can kind of sit in and amongst with the Aston Martins, Alpines, McLarens that are bringing upgrades a lot more regularly. And I think Gunther Steiner has done an exceptional job. I know I'm a big Gunther Steiner fan, and yes, he's obviously taken them down as well as back up again. But if you look at the job that Gunther Steiner has done between sort of 2019 and now, I think he's done an exceptionally good job at kind of keeping that team afloat. There were many times over those 3 or 4 years that we thought Haas were just going to completely disband and give up on themselves. Rumours that Mazepin was just going to take over the Haas team. It was going to become like a Uralkali team. There was the rich energy stuff. Gunther Steiner has done incredibly well. And to be now at this point where he's come back into the team, he's got 2 drivers that he can completely trust with the car, and a car coming into 2023 that he's excited about. I think when it comes to Haas in 2023, they came P8 in the Constructors' Championship last year. Is a P7 that crazy? I don't think so. Don't get me wrong. They're obviously not going to break into the top three. But then you're looking at kind of those three teams above. You're looking at Aston Martin. I think Alpine are going to be very quick still. And I think McLaren are also going to be very good. I can't see them beating any of those three. And then it kind of comes to that bottom four, right? And you've got Haas, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, and Williams. And Alfa Romeo were really dropping off the pace towards the end of last season. And obviously they're leaving Formula One at the end of the year. AlphaTauri look completely lost. Yuki Tsunoda and Nick De Vries are still completely unknown quantities when it comes to Formula One. I just have no idea how the AlphaTauri car is going to be in this 2023 season. And then Williams just don't look anywhere near it. And Williams don't look like they're able to make that step up. So I think 7th place for Haas is well up for grabs. I think Nico Hülkenberg is a good driver to bring in. Would I have kept Mick Schumacher? Yes, but I can completely understand why you bring in Nico Hülkenberg and what you expect from Nico Hülkenberg moving forward. And I absolutely love Kevin Magnussen. I think he is an incredible driver for that Haas team. Don't get me wrong, he's not in that upper echelon. He's not going to replace Max Verstappen at Red Bull anytime soon. But for Haas in that midfield car, I think Kevin Magnussen delivers exactly what you want. He's the kind of character that you need in that team as well. He does have that ability to just sometimes put together a performance that out of nowhere picks you up an incredible amount of points. And I really do like that combination of Nico Hülkenberg, of Gunther Steiner, of Kevin Magnussen coming into 2023. And I hope with MoneyGram they can bring a few more upgrades and be a little bit more competitive right on the fringes of those points a little bit more often. But that's just my thoughts on the Haas team coming into the 2023 season. I'd love to know where you think Haas will come in the Constructors' Championship down below. I'm going to try and do one of these for every single one of the teams when their livery drops / car reveal drops. So keep an eye out, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you don't miss any of those, and I will see you next time.